Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another IntyCenter coming to you once again from Echo Base. And we're deep into the playoff run here, and we're going to start naturally with the main event for this set and the four games between San Diego Surfers and brand new ball players, the two teams that are vying for the final wild card spot in Sandlot. Game one was an absolute doozy. Clayton Kershaw and Robin Roberts put up zeros through six before brand new ball player struck first from top of the seventh. A bases loaded walk drawn by Lonnie Smith and a two-run single from Pudge Rodriguez puts them up 3-0. But a pair of RBI singles from Mike Trout and Jim Thome put the Surfers on the board in the bottom of the inning. The ball players got another RBI single from Pudge in the eighth to push that lead to 4-2, but Josh Hamilton got an RBI double in the bottom of the eighth, and Brian McCann hit a two-run homer to put the Surfers ahead. Kenny Lofton gets a one-out single in the ninth. That's going to put the tying run on base, but Felix Hernandez retires the pinch-hitting Oscar Charleston to wrap up the win. Now, game two in the series, not nearly as competitive. Justin Verlander tosses 8 innings, giving up 1 run on 6 hits. Shohei Ohtani hits his 20th homer of the season, and the Surfers roll to a 6-1 win. The teams would then swap stadiums to finish the series, but it would not change the results. The Surfers jumped all over Max Scherzer early in game three, took a 6-0 lead after 4 innings, and then held on for a 7-5 win. And then it was Corey Kluber authoring his masterpiece, 7 1/3 innings of 6-hit, 1-run baseball with homers from Gary Sheffield, Jim Thome, and Noma to secure the sweep. And with that sweep, San Diego Surfers now have a 5-game cushion on the ball players with just 9 games to play. And they are projected to make the playoffs now with 95% odds. That one might just be done. Now, elsewhere in Sandlot, Cithy did what they needed to do. They sweep the Atlanta Animes by a combined score in that series of 30-6. And I'm not sure the series was even as close as that scoreline makes it sound. A 5-hit game from Nap LaJoie was the exclamation point for Cithy. While Rogers Hornsby remains the lone bright spot for Atlanta, he does hit his 25th homer of the season. The Demon Bags, they got some great pitching from Satchel Paige in the opener against Game of Thrones. They were 4-1 winners, and they got incredible offense in the series closer. They got home runs from Larry Walker and Chuck Klein. They scored 12 runs and bang out 19 hits. However, that middle game, a 7th-inning homer from Sherry McGee would break a 3-3 tie, and the San Francisco 6 Demon Bags of Phoenix would drop that one. That means they lose a game in the chase on Cithy. And while Raise the Jolly Roger would score exactly 3 runs in every game against the Shack Barons, they also gave up more than 3 runs in every game. And that means the Shack Barons swept that series. They maintained their lead in the regular season title race. Biggest moment in that series was a walk-off grand slam homer from Pete Browning. And that sweep will also officially mathematically eliminate Raise the Jolly Roger from playoff contention. Guidman, great first season. Looking forward to seeing how you do next year, but no playoffs for the expansion team this year. Let's change our attention then over to the accurate length of a Star Destroyer league. We'll start with Albuquerque, and they just could not get out of their own way. They are seeing their slim playoff hopes get slimmer and slimmer. Robin Yount brought home Joe Mauer in the 9th inning of the opener to tie that game up, but the Reseda Free Fallers get a pinch hit walk-off single from Tommy Agee in the 11th, and they take game one. The All-Seeing Angels, they did take game two 6-2 after a strong start from Russ Ford, but homers from Gunnar Henderson and Julio Rodriguez would help power an outburst from the Free Fallers as they win game 3 10-5, and they'll take 2 out of 3 from the All-Seeing Angels, who again trying to scrape and crawl and scratch and keep in that playoff picture. Amazings, they would get the start they needed to this set. They jumped all over Old Hoss Radburn. They got him for 6 runs on 10 hits, and they knock him out of the game in the 6th inning. They would pound out 15 hits in that game as they would win 8-5. Now, they would have much, much less of a punch in game two as they basically get DeGrominated. Jacob deGrom goes the distance. He gives up 1 run on 6 hits while he strikes out 7. Performance enhancers take game 2 by a score of 4-1. And then Rube Waddell, even more dominant than deGrom, just doesn't have the fun pun for his name. He goes everything but the final out, giving up no runs on 2 hits. They do go to Rob Nen for that final out for reasons I can't explain. The enhancers get homers from Jocko Milligan, Jim Edmonds, and Dick Allen. And that 9-0 win, that's a big boost to the enhancers' playoff odds, but possibly a knockout blow to Amazings. Now, we know that Albuquerque, the enhancers, and Amazings are all chasing LPT, Let's Play 2, and the bandwagoners of every city, and they were playing each other. The opener in that series saw Greg Maddux toss 10 innings, give up 2 runs on 5 hits, strike out 16, and take a no decision. It was very nearly a loss, and it probably should have been a loss, but the bandwagoners did themselves in. An error and a wild pitch in the 9th inning led to the tying run, and we were at 2-2 until we get to the bottom of the 12th. That's when Frank Thomas leads off that inning with a walk-off homer. That's a 3-2 win for Let's Play 2. Now, game 2 got started and then suspended due to rain, which meant we got a pair of results on the 20th. Kevin Brown, he gave up a single and worked only 2 innings due to that aforementioned suspension via rain. That's enough to tag him with a loss. Roger Clemens, Juan Marichal, Billy Wagner, Mariano Rivera, they combined to limit every city bandwagoners to just 1 run as the bandwagoners wasteful on the day. They waste 10 hits. They leave 10 runners on base. And Let's Play 2 takes that one 3-1. And after a Tony Gwynn 2-run homer in the bottom of the 6th put Let's Play 2 up 5-2, it looked like a sweep of both the doubleheader and the series might be at hand. But Lou Gehrig had an RBI double. That was followed by a 2-run double from Carl Yastrzemski. That ties us at 5. Top of the 9th, Al Rosen reaches on an error by Mike Schmidt. Barry Bonds homers in the very next at bat. That makes it 7-5. Now, Tony Gwynn, Ryan Sandberg single and walk to open the bottom of the 9th and immediately put the tying runs on base with nobody out. But Noodles Hahn, he gets a fly out from Ernie Banks, a ground out from Hank Aaron, and then he strikes out Schmidt to end the game. Schmidt makes the error and then cannot redeem himself. It's a 7-5 win for the bandwagoners. That means, as we stand today, Let's Play 2 leads the bandwagoners by a game in the win column, and those 2 teams sit in the final 2 playoff spots in accurate length of a Star Destroyer. The Enhancers sit 1.5 games back and feel very much in it. Albuquerque is 3.5 out and feel like they need a lot of help and a miracle. Amazings, they're now 6.5 back, and I have moved them into the mathematically alive but realistically eliminated category. Now, what about the top of accurate length of the Star Destroyer? Could we see the Gales of November move up and make ground on New York State of Mound in their head-to-head matchup? The short answer, no. The long answer, no, they could not. It was most certainly not the day of the Toad, as Toad Ramsey got roughed up in the opener to the tune of 8 runs allowed on 10 hits. He goes just 4 1/3 innings as New York State of Mound takes it 10-1. Carl Hubble tossed a 3-hit shutout in the second game as State of Mound takes that one 3-0. The Gales do take the finale 3-1 behind a 5-hit complete game effort from Bert Blyleven. But with that series win, State of Mound are now 6 games up with 10 to play. Looks like they should cruise to the regular season crown and the #1 seed, and probably their eventual playoff choke, since that's what they do every year. And traditions are important. That's going to do it this time. We will catch you next time we do this for another whip around the deuce here on IntyCenter.